today on the land of the Aboriginal owners of this land and pay my respect to their elders past, present, and emerging. Distinguished guests, community leaders, friends, and colleagues, welcome to this really exciting event of celebrating and honoring the extraordinary services and contributions of Dr. Sima Samar. It is my profound honor to welcome Dr. Sima Samar to Melbourne, to Australia, on behalf of the organizers and everyone who has gathered here in this hall. Dr. Sima Samar, welcome to Melbourne. We are really honored to have you among us today in this event. I would also like to acknowledge the presence of a number of distinguished guests, some of whom have traveled from other cities and other countries to be present among us today. His Excellency Niamatullah Ibrahimi, the Ambassador of Afghanistan to Australia and New Zealand, who is continuing to advocate for and represent a free and democratic Afghanistan despite all the challenges over the past 4.5 years. Thank you for your presence. We're also delighted that Emeritus Professor William Melly from Australian National University, who has mentored a generation of researchers and scholars of Afghanistan over so many decades, is also among us. Please join me in welcoming Professor Melly as well. Mr. Sanjar Suhail and Mr. Parvez Kawa from Hashd Soap Daily and Mr. Jawad Raha from Mithluat Rose Daily are also among us, who is continuing tirelessly to advocate for a free democratic Afghanistan through their work in journalism. And we are also extremely delighted that Rohullah Net, who is the first and two-time medalist, Olympic medalist from Afghanistan, is also joining us. This is a really extremely exciting event to have so many distinguished guests and speakers from so many different walks of life gathered here today in this hall. But we have gathered here today for a very special reason, to welcome and celebrate the extraordinary contributions and services of Dr. Samar. We often use the word hero very lightly. But on this occasion, we are in the presence of someone who redefines the word and its meaning for us. Most of us know the headlines. We know she was the deputy chair of the interim administration of Afghanistan in 2001. And she became the first Minister for Women's Affairs of Afghanistan. We know she chaired the Afghanistan Independent Human Rights Commission for nearly 2 decades. But truly, to pay a tribute to her, we must acknowledge and celebrate her services against extreme challenges before she assumed those public roles in the Republic of Afghanistan. To speak of Dr. Samar's outstanding career and contribution is to speak of exceptional courage, visionary leadership, and resistance during nearly 5 decades of the troubled history of Afghanistan. During these decades, she stood as a beacon of hope, progressive social change, and resistance, whilst Afghanistan and its people were disrupted by recurrent war, mass displacements, and violent extremism from all sides. We know from around the world and from the experience of Afghanistan that war and violence usually causes a reversal in social and economic development, empowers the most violent actors, erodes social norms, and encourages people to prioritize short-term personal gains over long-term and collective interests. Therefore, conflicts typically drags a nation backwards, destroying infrastructure and extinguishing hope. Yet, if you look at the history of Afghanistan over the last decades, you will see some powerful defying trends. While many were building trenches, many were also building schools. While some distributed guns and bullets, others were actively resisting the culture of violence by distributing pens, notebooks, and books. While many specialize in killing and maiming, others focus on healing, treating, and protecting health and life. This is why we saw that health services reaching some of the remotest parts of Afghanistan, literacy rates rising, schools were being built, and basic services touching the poorest villages of Afghanistan for the first time in history. These progresses in health and education were not achieved by accident, but thanks to the relentless work of Dr. Samar and others who followed the example set by her. Through Shuhada organization, she proved that even in the midst of chaos of war and violence, development is possible if you have the courage, the vision, and leadership. She refused to accept that even in the darkest times, progress is not possible. Politically, Dr. Samar took some of the hardest and most challenging jobs. As the chair of the Human Rights Commission, she confronted some of the powerful actors and individuals who were involved in mass atrocities and demanded accountability. She led national efforts to hear and document the stories of pain and loss of victims of war and violence across Afghanistan. She taught us that peace without justice is not peace at all, it is just a pause in violence. We know that Dr. Samar's contribution have been recognized by several outstanding international prizes. She has been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize and has received several awards. But I believe her greatest award is a generation of boys and girls in Afghanistan who became doctors, teachers, engineers, and leaders because she built them school. It is a generation who grew up during the war but learned that they had rights because she gave them a voice to speak for themselves. While the Taliban returned to power in 2021, Afghanistan is facing yet another cycle of repression and violence, marked by gender apartheid, genocidal violence, and repression of Hazaras in other communities across the country, and systematic denial of the most fundamental human rights of every citizen of that country. It is in this tragic moment in the history of Afghanistan that Dr. Samar's courage and determination remind us that even in these most difficult times, one person with courage and determination can light a fire that cannot be extinguished. Dr. Samar has set the example that you can refuse to give up on your hopes for a free and democratic Afghanistan. Dr. Samar has demonstrated with clarity and consistency over decades that you cannot give up on your hopes for your basic human dignity and the rights of every citizen of Afghanistan. Thank you, Dr. Samar, for all that you have done. خانم‌ها، آقایان، اجازه دهید که صحبت‌هایم را با چند نکته کوتاه و زبان فارسی تمام کنم. تجلیل و ارزش‌گذاری از کارنامه درخشان دکتر سمر تنها گرامی داشت از یک گذشته نیست. همچنان که می‌دانیم در جریان بیشتر از 4 سال گذشته رژیم طالبان یک بار دیگر افغانستان را به قهقرا سوق داده است. رژیم استبدادی این گروه بنیادی‌ترین حقوق شهروندان افغانستان را به رسمیت نمی‌شناسد. آپارتاید جنسیتی، تبعید سیستماتیک علیه هزارها و دیگر گروه‌ها و سرکوب گسترده و سیستماتیک حقوق مدنی و سیاسی همه شهروندان کشور نشان دهنده این است که افغانستان امروز یکی از استبدادی ترین رژیم های جهان را متاسفانه تجربه میکند. اما با تجلیل و الهام گرفتن از کارنامه دکتر سمر ما هم تعهد میکنیم که از مبارزه برای یک کشور آزاد و مبتنی بر حقوق بشر دست بر نمیداریم. یک کشوری که در آن کرامت و حقوق شهروندی همه حفظ شود نه تنها ممکن است بلکه یک حق انسانی و وجیبه ملی همه ماست. دکتر صاحب سمر، برای ما شما نماد مقاومت یک نسل هستید. در سخت‌ترین دوره‌های تاریخ شما مرهم بودید بر زخم‌های مردم. در سخت‌ترین شرایط شما در دل کوه‌ها و دره‌های وطن چراغ علم و دانش را روشن نگه داشتید. شما به ما یاد دادید که دفاع از حقوق بشر، جنسیت، قوم و علایق سیاسی نمی‌شناسد. حضور شما در اینجا در میان ما یادآور این هم هست که مبارزه برای آزادی و برابری هنوز تمام نشده است. امروز جامعه دیاسپورای افغانستان مقیم ملبورن با قلب پر از احترام به شما خوش آمدید میگوید. ما میدانیم که شما راه آسان را نپیموده اید. میدانیم که شما در این مسیر با چالش‌های بیشمار مواجه شدید اما هرگز تسلیم نشدید. ایستادگی شما به نسل امروز که شاهد دوره دیگر از اختناق، سرکوب و نقض گسترده حقوق بشر در رژیم طالبان هست، مایه افتخار، الهام و سربلندی هست. دکتر صاحب عزیز، به شهر ملبورن یک بار دیگر خوش آمدین. قدم‌هایتان روی چشمای ما بخیر باشید. تشکر.